May the 4th, 2021. Call this Oconee County Council to order. Public comment session. Each person will have 4 minutes. I will hold up a 3-minute sign when 3 minutes up, then I'll hold up a red sign when your time's up. I understand a lot of you have signed up to speak on the elevated youth services matter. Please keep in mind that this is not a public hearing on this issue and that public comment time is not intended to be interactive between council and the public. Council has its own agenda time set aside to comment on any matters that members desire to address. But as the elevated youth services issue is one that we're receiving legal advice on later, we will not be commenting on this issue during council member comments. The first person that signed up is Scott Arnold.
Good afternoon, Council. My name is Scott Arnold, and I own the property at 601 Walter Scott Lane. My neighbor Helen and David Johnson own the property across from my home at 602 Walter Scott Lane, and their home is currently up for sale. It had been brought to my attention that Elevated Youth Services Incorporated is interested in buying the property to establish a treatment center for handicapped youth, which could occupy up to 16 youths. After conducting some research on Elevated Youth Services, it appears that the home will mostly occupy with sexual problematic youths. In March of 2015, I bought my home on Walter Scott Lane with restrictive covenants attached to my deed. My covenant clearly states that the land use shall be used for residential purposes only. In March of 1996, when Helen and David Johnson bought their property, the same restricted covenants applied to their deed. And I do have a copy of the covenants here if you'd like to see them. Elevated Services is wanting to establish a 16 youth unit at the property. This is not a single family purpose. I call this home they want to establish a group home or a rehab. And actually, to me, it's like a business. This clearly violates the restriction covenant that we have in our subdivision. I am not against these homes if they're placed in an appropriate location. An established neighborhood with restrictions and covenants is not the proper location. I'm here today on the behalf of Burns Mill community, and as you can see, my friends and my family's here with me. We want to let the council know that we do not want this group home in our neighborhood. So I'm asking you, the council, to not grant the exemption for the group home in our community. Thank you.
Mr. Ralph Holcomb.
I want to thank the members of the County Council for letting me speak today also. My name is Ralph Holcomb, and I live at 612 Walter Scott Lane. The house that we're talking about today is literally right beside me. I'm concerned about the possibility of the property being used as a group home for Elevated Youth Services also. First of all, according to the website, also I've done some looking up and research myself. For Elevated Youth Services, this is their quote, their facility services youth ages from 12 to 17 years of age with some form of problematic sexual behavior. It goes on to say that problematic sexual behavior is part of the inclusionary criteria for client acceptance. This is their words, not mine. Committing sexual misconduct offenses is not, in my decision, a handicap. It should not be addressed as such. We have allowed this, if we allow this group home to be established in our backyard, how can the families in our neighborhood feel safe? The proposed location is just 1.8 miles from Walhalla Elementary School, 3.8 miles from Walhalla High, 5 miles from Walhalla High. It is also 2.1 miles from Upstate Child Care Center, a local daycare. Secondary, in the attorney's letter to the county council, it states, in short, elevated proposed use of the property is a residential one. The property itself will maintain its residential structure and appearance. No signage will be added. The landscaping and parking will not be altered from residential use. From the outside looking in, it will be impossible to tell this structure is being used for anything but a single-family resident. So, this means that it is not being used as a single-family residence as required in our covenant. Lastly, in Elevated Youth Services website video, it states we have 4 staff members per one every kid. If there are 16 kids, as it is stated in the attorney's letter, housed there, then what would that mean? That there are 64 counselors there, as well as 16 juveniles. That is a total of 80 people in one residential home. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today, and I hope you use good judgments as to make this decision and know and protect our subdivision.
Ashley Ayers.
Hello, my name is Ashley Ayers. I live on 446 Burns Mill Road and am roughly 2 houses away from the place Elevated Youth Services wants to move to. I have lived here for almost 20 years. When it comes to troubled youth with sexualized behaviors, I personally have a connection with this. I am a rape victim and a rape survivor. When I was 17 years old, a virgin, I was raped by a boy. I cried, I yelled no, I pushed, I did everything I could in my power. He still persisted, he still insisted, he still denied my no and raped me. When I tell you my home is my only safe haven, I mean it. My home is where I feel safe, protected, and secure unconditionally. I get to take off my mask, and I'm not talking about the COVID mask. I get to let go of my protective gear that I have to use to guard myself. I don't have to check my shoulders and constantly be aware of the uncontrollable, power-hungry sexual boys that lurk around me. But if you decide to let these boys live near me, all my protection, all my security, and worst of all, my own sanctuary will be lost and drowned in fear, anxiety, and uncertainty. I will no longer feel comfortable on my own property. I will tremble as I walk to my car. I will tremble when I get my mail. I will tremble when I walk my dog. A boy disrespected my no, and it completely altered my life, my body, and my outlook. I will no longer have someone disrespect my no without putting up a fight. This is why I am here today. That is why I'm speaking for the first time publicly ever on my rape and my trauma that a boy caused to me. I'm setting my pride aside and fear to stand up and speak for those who cannot. In this neighborhood and on this street, we have moms, grandmas, aunts, daughters, granddaughters, sisters, and friends who I am standing up to try to protect. If one of these boys were to sneak out, or to be triggered, or to be set off, it would be at our cost. As the neighboring houses and families, we would be the one who would pay. How would you personally feel if this was on your street, right next to your house? Would you feel safe for your wives or your daughters? I stand up to speak for all the women, all of our neighbors, and all of our friends and family on this road. You will turn this warm, inviting, safe, and comfortable neighborhood into one marked by fear. I have grown so much since I was raped. I have learned to have a voice. I have grown confident in myself and in my story. Although Leland Martin disrespected my no, I can confidently say I will never ever have another man or woman belittle me or disregard me by not respecting my no without a fight. So, for Burns Mill Road and I, we do not welcome Elevated Youth Services. Our answer is no. Thank you.
Sir, and I apologize if I may have said pronounced your name incorrectly.
I'm used to people mispronouncing my name. Chairman, members of the council, my name's Bob Balser. My wife and I have lived in Oconee County for over 40 years. We've owned a home on 611 Walter Scott Lane in Burns Mill for 20 years. And it's not in the best interest of families in Burns Mill, the establishment of this business called Elevated Youth or any other business. Burns Mill subdivision's got this restricted covenants, easement agreements for Burns Mill. It was filed and recorded in Oconee Public Records on June 11, 1990. The restricted covenants are very clear and precise in describing the issue of land use and other issues in 14 separate paragraphs. Purpose of restrictive covenants are to perpetuate a quality, peaceful, single-family residential subdivision comprised of single-family residents allowing no commercial businesses. First two sentences pertaining to land use, paragraph 2 reads, each lot shall be used for residential purposes only. Only one single-family residence shall be erected, altered, placed, or permitted on any lot. Further down in paragraph 2, a sentence reads, no commercial business or sign for business shall be allowed on any lot. The establishment of this business by Elevated Youth Services is clearly a business, and it doesn't comply with the restricted covenants of Burns Mill. The last paragraph in the restricted covenants agreement reads as follows. These covenants are to run with the land, and a 2/3 vote of all lot owners of lots represented on the plat of this subdivision shall be required to alter the protective covenants and restrictions for Burns Mill. And that's there for a reason. Clearly, these restricted covenants are meant to protect not only the people's desire to live in a peaceful and harmonious community, but also to protect the asset value of their home. Which, by the way, the mere fact that this is up for consideration has already affected the market value of the homes in the subdivision. Case in point, our custom-built home, which we built 20 years ago, is presently on the market. It's been adversely affected. We've had 15 showings over the last week, several offers extended, only to be withdrawn as soon as this information became known. The establishment of this business is clearly contrary to the covenant restrictions and should not be permitted to infringe on the harmony and the peace of the families in Burns Mill. If this is allowed in an established residential subdivision such as Burns Mill that has a restricted covenant, then a precedent will be set which can negate any subdivision covenant in the county and will open the door to potentially any subdivision in the county. Thank you for your time and consideration of this important issue, which could affect all subdivisions in the county.
John Tillison.
Good evening. My name's Sean Tilson. I'm a resident of District 3, and I'm the newly appointed District 3 Director for the Oconee County Republican Party. I'd like to share with you my concerns regarding the upcoming vote scheduled for after the executive session tonight. The agenda item reads as follows. Discuss and take action on Elevated Youth Services reasonable accommodation request under the Federal Fair Housing Act in relation to the establishment of a residential treatment home for handicapped youth at 602 Walter Scott Lane, West Union, South Carolina. While I am not a resident of District 2, this issue was brought to me by a concerned citizen of District 2 who lives within a half mile from the proposed location of this residence. Further investigation of this issue revealed that Elevated Youth Services states, in part, in the following from their own website, elevatedyouthservices.com. Under the heading of Overcoming Sexually Problematic Behavior. We empathize and respond to the children with whom we work as whole people in which sexually abusive behavior or other forms of sexually problematic behavior represent simply one element of their past functioning and experience. Many of the youth served to have comorbid mental health diagnoses and have multiple phases of functioning. Typically, Elevated Youth Services serves youth ages 12 to 17 years old with some form of problematic sexual behavior. This does not have to be the primary diagnosis, but problematic sexual behavior is part of the inclusionary criteria for client acceptance. In other words, you cannot be accepted into this program unless you have some element of problematic sexual behavior. And by the way, I did research the definition of problematic sexual behavior, and I am not comfortable reading that definition out in front of y'all here tonight, not in this forum. I also find it interesting that this accommodation is being requested for a treatment home for handicapped youth. Yet the word handicapped is not found anywhere on the Elevated Youth Services site, not once. The prompt from the resident in District 2 caused me to consider the potential consequences of a residence like this one being accommodated within 1,000 feet of my home in District 3, where my wife and I are nearing completion of the adoption of a 2-year-old little girl. How would we feel knowing that such a residence was so close to our daughter? The potential consequences to me are disturbing. Article 5, from which this group is requesting accommodation, states the following as its purpose in section 32-172. The regulations of this article are intended to lessen the adverse impact of large-scale group residential development on neighboring residential areas and ensure the health and safety and general welfare of residents and citizens of the county. Section 32-181 delineates distance requirements for a group residential facility shall not be located within 1,000 feet of the nearest residence. There are at least 10 homes within 1,000 feet of this proposed residence according to Oconee County property records. Waiving the requirement of Article 5 eliminates the protection of the health and safety and general welfare of those within 1,000 feet of this facility. I understand that this particular vote will not affect me directly, but as a District 3 Director, I would like to be able to go back and tell my neighbors and our residents in the county that our county council has the best interest and safety of all of our county residents in mind. I'll remain in attendance until after this vote's cast, along with many others, I'm sure, because I believe your vote will shed light on your true values throughout the county, including each of your home districts. Vote no to any accommodation to Elevated Youth Services.
Bert O'Shea.
Yes, sir. Thank you, council. I'm Bert O'Shields, and I'm here to represent Timberlake One Circle. We have paved roads is in bad shape, but we have about 3 miles of gravel roads that's been there since that place was built. And they're just a mess, and every time it rains, the gravel roads washes off into the ditches. The ditches are overrun with all kind of wash stuff in them. And they've come out to look, and they've blocked it off. I don't know where they're going to pave it, just cut out blocks and repave part of the main roads. But the people in my neighborhood, I brought you a big list the last meeting. We're all concerned with our neighborhood, and we would need some help from the county out that way. We're not trying to do anything but get help from the county, and we've been overlooked for years on the road system. And we would appreciate somebody paying attention to our roads. There's probably 3 miles of roads and there's gravel. There's 2 different drives, and there's places on each side of the road on them gravel roads from one end to the other. So all these people nobody would never step forward. They kept waiting on the county to help them. So I'm asking for help from the county on these roads. So that's my agenda, and that's all I'd like to have, is some help on our roads and ditches right now. Okay, guys? Thank you for listening to me.
Melissa and Will Hubbard.
Council, I appreciate the opportunity to come before you all today. My name is Will Hubbard. My wife Melissa is here as well. I am a local attorney at the Erie Law Firm, and we recently moved here about 3 years ago. During that time, we were renting. We saved up for 3 years to get a down payment on the house, and we just moved into Burns Mill subdivision approximately 1 month ago. And we were really happy. We looked at a lot of houses. I know it's a really crazy market, and so we specifically chose this subdivision because it's a place where we felt like we could raise our 2 little girls. We have 2 girls, Winnie and Elizabeth, and they are age 2 and age 8 months. And it was an area where we found restrictive covenants that we liked, restrictive covenants where we felt like that they could be safe. My wife stays home with the 2 children while I go to work in the day. And it was just a place, again, where we specifically chose this place and decided to put down all our savings on it as a down payment so that we felt like that they would be safe and be able to live there. And then when news came of elevated youth services and where they're deciding to, or discussing putting a residential group home for sexually troubled youth, obviously that was very upsetting for both of us, specifically my wife. And the idea that we had done all this effort, tried to do things the right way, tried to save up and make a down payment, and then we find out that this is moving in basically right next door to us. So I basically am asking the council here today, along with my other neighbors, to vote no on this exemption that is being offered so that we can continue to live in a place that has these restrictive covenants, where my wife and my children can feel safe, and that where I can feel safe leaving them there while we go about our daily business. So thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Shannon Reese.
Hi, I'm Shannon Reese. I am a resident of Walhalla, and I'm just here to add support for the voices that are concerned with the elevated youth services home. My friend lives very close by to the proposed site, and my 2-year-old son often plays over there. And also, it just seems like such a big change in land use to go from residential to having 16 youths with their aides. And many people I know, including my husband and my friend, have been through the rigorous rezoning process, and I just don't think that it's fair for them to be exempt from that. Thank you.
Holly Douglas.
Hello. Thank you for your time. My name is Holly Douglas. I am a mother of 2 under 5, a wife, and I live at 15 Crystal Falls Road, which is technically in the Burns Mill subdivision. I am 0.8 miles from the Walter Scott property, but much closer through the woods with the way that our land sits. I thank you for allowing me to speak, and on behalf of all my neighbors and community members, we thank you for your time. I understand that there are fair housing issues and deed restriction concerns in place here, and that council now needs to weigh those as you consider your decision. I don't know how long you've got, but it's been 4 days of constant research for me, and I understand it's not an easy decision. There are a lot of factors in play here. I called Mr. Browning, who owns the organization. His number is actually on the website, so I just called because as I spoke with my fellow neighbors, there were an incredible number of questions, and there were a lot of misinformation going around. So I just called him and asked him several questions. I spent quite some time on the phone with him. He has expressed that he wants transparency with the community, and I'll just say I do not know him personally. I'm not here to defend him or any of that. I just am explaining my conversation with him. He had expressed that he does want transparency with the community. He was not aware how much this has stirred our neighborhood. He has offered to reach out to property owners, but obviously time is an issue. We're here tonight, he's in Utah. There was not a flight fast enough, nor a letter that could travel fast enough. So what I'm asking is that council take him up on that offer, to have a discussion with the neighbors who are concerned and affected. I don't know that that would change anything, but I'm asking you for time. Like I said, I do not know him personally. He did not confirm on the phone that he has any plans to come oversee the home himself. This would be a staffed facility with rotating shifts of staff members, which he assured me would undergo background checks and training. But again, he has offered time. I'm asking that you take him up on it. I informed him that this community has a strong history of supporting those in need, specifically troubled youth. In my travels today, I passed 3 such homes for youth who need assistance in different areas of their life, 3. And I didn't even touch half the county. You know, we've got a great history of supporting those homes. We would all, I believe, I don't want to speak for the group, but and everyone I've spoken to says that they do believe these youth need treatment. This is a need. We don't want to see them perpetuate on further in life. But in communities that Mr. Browning has attempted to open homes, he's been met with incredibly aggressive behavior. This is a civilized group speaking their minds. We are a loving community. I've spoken with 4 separate attorneys, 3 of them specifically who work within deed restrictions and real estate. As this has been explained to all of them, they have had dozens of questions, and this is their daily profession. So again, I respectfully ask that council give more time and consideration to listen to all of the concerns listed today and the questions that remain and the facts that we may yet be unaware of. I've spoken primary sources of this information. I still too have questions. So I just ask for taking him up on that and then listening to the concerns listed here tonight, and wish you well in all of your decision making. Thank you.
We have 2 written comments. One comment is from Linda Oliver, the mayor of West Union. It is with great concern for the citizens of my town and surrounding area that I write to you today. It has brought to my attention that a company, Elevated Youth Services, is requesting to purchase a home located on Walter Scott Drive and operate a home for youth with some form of problematic sexual behavior. This area of West Union is home to many small children and elderly women living alone. I do not think this is proper location for such a home. As the victim of a sex crime, I can totally sympathize with victims who have to live the rest of their lives with the knowledge of having the possibility of being exposed to their perpetrator at any given time and location, but when it comes to the possibility of having to live next door to such a program as this, it would be too much to ask of any victim. I agree the youth need a place and guidance, but putting them in the midst of homes with small children is not the answer. Perhaps a home with acreage so that outside programs could be implemented, partnering with local church pastors could be a good alternative. I'm asking on behalf of myself and those most vulnerable to vote no to this proposal. One other written comment, I'm going to abbreviate. In response to the first reading of Ordinance 2021 regarding wearing face coverings in county-owned facilities, thank you for hearing me. We listened to the reading of a letter from a physician in Westminster advocating maintaining the mask requirement and quoting low percentages of people vaccinated for COVID-19 in our county. We heard from one very concerned council member concerned about lifting the mask requirements too soon, stating we should consider the science. While I respect the right of every person in America to formulate and speak about their own opinion as protected by the First Amendment of our Constitution, I respectfully submit some facts for consideration and support removing the mask mandates. I'm not going to read the facts, but I'm going to read what she ends with. With all due respect to those with differing opinions, masks don't work. I would encourage lifting mask mandates, social distancing mandates, less than 100% occupancy mandates, and private gathering mandates, etc. Thank you for your time, Mrs. Leslie Kilty.
Mr. Chairman.
Councilman comments.
before we close this session, this is a new process for our people. Did everybody speak that wanted to speak, sign up on the forum? Would you like to speak?
Sure.
I don't have anything prepared.
Please state your name,
I'm
please.
sorry. My name is Melissa Gibson. I live at 471 Burns Mill Road, and we also have the property on 506 Duncan Lane, which is right off of Burns Mill Road. I don't have anything prepared. I'm speaking from my heart as a mom. I am directly across the street from where this house is located, okay, that has the contract on it to be purchased for this home. It terrifies me. I have to be quite honest with you. It terrifies me. And I think I talk for many of the women with children. I have a 5-year-old and I have a 9-year-old. Our swimming pool is in our front yard. My children play in the front yard. I don't want to have to keep my children in the backyard. Okay? I don't want, for some reason, somebody to decide that they're going to escape just like they do at the Tribble Center from time to time. And they want to go take a walk. Okay? Tribble Center is a great place, but it's in their own place. Okay? My kids are young enough that if another child comes up to them and they want to play, they're not going to know the difference. Okay? They know an adult that could be a threat to stay away from adults that they don't know. But if my child is approached by another child that they don't realize that has a problem and they don't feel as if that they are a threat, they're going to say, hey, come on, let's play. And what if something were to happen? And it is the big question of what if. But these are kids that have issues. There's many, 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 many properties. We've got the mountain. We've got other acreage parcels in our county that is available. That would be wonderful places for them to come. I'm not condoning them. All kids need help that need help. I'm not condoning them whatsoever. But just, there's so many children in our development that could be put in harm's way, guys. And that's what I didn't sign up. I'm not prepared. But this is coming from a mother's heart for my children and the other children in the neighborhood. Thank you very much.
Anyone else want to speak? If not, council member comments?
Mr. Chairman, I just want to start off saying I appreciate the county lifting the attendance limitations on the meeting. The business we do here is important. The decisions made affect lives, and it's important for it to be open to the public. And although we're not going to comment on the issue with the Youth Services Center, I just want to say I appreciate everyone coming out. I appreciate those that spoke, and those that didn't speak. Your attendance here speaks volumes. Thank you all.
Mr. Chairman. I'd like to recognize the new Republican Chairman of Oconee County, David McNahan, please.
Any other comments? If not, moment of silence. Mr. Root?
Yes, sir. Please pray with me if you'd like to. Well, Father, thank you for this day that you've made, for creating us, giving us life and holding it together, giving us the opportunity to come together, to deliberate, for council to be in a position to receive information, to, by your wisdom, make important decisions. And important business does go on here, and we need your wisdom, we need your guidance, and we appreciate it that you are faithful, that you can extend our limited knowledge, see beyond what we might just see by our human eyes into what is eternally important. So I pray you give us guidance tonight, that this will be your meeting, and I pray in your name. Amen.
Mr. Kane, will you lead us in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a motion to approve the April 20th regular minutes?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Let's see, Mr. Root, I think you're filling in tonight.
Yeah, filling in it for Miss Amanda Brock as administrator. I don't have any comments for her, although, in case I forget, on the second reading on the litter ordinance, she did want to put in that she's still interested in working on the litter task force, just kind of related to the litter ordinance amendment, that is something that she is still driving at, and she'll have more details about that. And as far as my attorney comments, I don't have anything.
Okay. Proclamation 2021-05. A proclamation recognizing May 15th, 2021 as Peace Officers Memorial Day and May 9th, 2021 through May 15th, 2021 as National Police Week. Whereas, in 1962, President John F. Kennedy signed the first proclamation recognizing May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day and the week in which it falls as National Police Week. And whereas, Police Officers Memorial Day pays special recognition to those law enforcement officers who have been killed or disabled in the line of duty for safety and protection of others. And whereas, law enforcement officers serve with courage, dedication, and strength. They fearlessly enforce laws at the risk of personal peril, safeguarding the property, liberty, and lives of others. And whereas, on Peace Officers Memorial Day and throughout National Police Week, we express our unending gratitude to law enforcement officers who selflessly confront danger to protect our families and defend our communities. And whereas the law enforcement officers of Oconee County unceasingly provide a vital public service. And whereas we owe law enforcement officers and their families our full and enduring support. Now, therefore, we, Oconee Council, do hereby recognize and proclaim May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day and May 9th through the 15th as National Police Week in Oconee County, South Carolina. We urge all citizens to celebrate those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty and law enforcement officers who continue to serve the people of Oconee County each and every day. Is there a motion to approve?
Move. Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all. Appreciate your service.
Let's get a little picture.
Thank you, sir. It always does.
So it's picture taking time.
That was your better side, Roy. It was, wasn't it?
Small.
That's not fair.
Get it?
Make sure to small.
Okay.
All right, perfect.
Don't blink, Roy.
Okay, one more. Okay, perfect, thank you.
Proclamation 2021-06, a proclamation for National Safe Boating Week. Whereas, on average, 600 people die each year in boating-related accidents in the U.S., approximately 79% of those fatalities caused by drowning, and whereas the vast majority of these accidents are caused by human error or poor judgment and not by the boat, equipment, or environmental factors, and whereas a significant number of boaters who lose their lives by drowning each year would be alive today had they worn their life jackets. And whereas today's life jackets are more comfortable, more attractive, and more wearable than the styles of the past years. Therefore, we, the Oconee County Council, do hereby support the goals of the Safe Boating Campaign and proclaim May 22nd through the 28th, 2021 is National Safe Boating Week and the start of the year-round effort to promote safe boating. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Discussion before we move forward. Sorry about that.
Sure, discussion.
On a second. I do want to state, I am very appreciative of County Council for what we have continually done in working with Duke Power around Lake Kiwi, and hope that we continue, as we did last year, to hopefully eliminate drownings, especially in Oconee County and hopefully all throughout South Carolina. And I'm very gracious of the law enforcement officers that we have put on the water out there that have done a great job of continually monitoring those. Department of Natural Resources is out there. And I just want to speak volumes to the effort that we've made in this county and law enforcement has made to make it safe, and appreciate council continuing to work with Duke Energy, especially around our Fall Creek area, to keep that from being the issue that it has been since I was growing up here. So I appreciate that. That is a huge thing to see, no drownings there last year, and I hope we never have one again. So thank you, Mr. Elliott.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, presentation to council, Appalachian Council of Governments.
All right, good evening, and thank you, Chairman Elliott and members of council. I appreciate the opportunity to be with you this evening again this year. I'm here to thank you for your support for the Appalachian Council of Governments and to provide our annual report on services and return on investment to Oconee County. I also want to express my thanks to Mr. Davis and Mr. Elliott for serving on our board of directors. I know you all are busy with your county duties and your other duties as well, and appreciate you taking the time to add that to your already busy schedule. Other board members from Oconee County include Senator Alexander, our most senior member, Seneca Council Member Dana Moore, Mr. E. Riley, and Ms. Marta Whalen. Appreciate the excellent working relationship we have with County Council and with your staff over the last 31 years that I've been with the Council of Governments. You have an excellent team here in Oconee County, and we really do enjoy working with them and appreciate the passion that your folks have for the people that you all serve. Prior to the meeting, Mr. Davis helped me distribute the annual report and put an Oconee County insert in the front cover. I know you have a long agenda tonight and some really important issues to address. So I'm going to be real brief, and hopefully you'll have the opportunity to go through the report in more detail at your leisure. But I do think return on investment is a good measure of performance. For 2020, your investment in the Council of Governments was $38,993. Coming back to the county and municipalities and other groups in the county from the Council of Governments, we were able to generate back about $3.1 million. So that represents about $38 back for every dollar invested in the county. We were able to provide about $1.35 million through the Rural Transportation Program for a couple of projects. The over there by the Pier Development on Lake Hartwell, the J.P. Stevens, Cherry Road, Martin Creek Road interchange. That entire project's going to be about $1.75 million and finish up in FY 2023. Then down there in Fairplay, the SC 59, the SC 182, and SC 243 intersection, and that's going to be a total of $4.5 million project through 2022. Since 1998, that program has put $34.4 million into road improvements in Oconee County. We're beginning the process to update that list for new projects. Certainly be working with your staff and with y'all to identify the top priorities in the county for that. In addition, we were able to provide $510,000 in services to seniors. And the main purpose here is to keep seniors at home. They do a whole lot better, they thrive better, they're happier, and as taxpayers, it's a lot cheaper for us to provide some resources that allow them to stay in their home rather than to put them in an institution. So that's a win for everybody. Funds provided over 63,000 meals. In past years, a lot of those meals were in congregate dining centers where they also got activity and interaction and some learning opportunities and games. Of course, with the COVID, it was all home delivered this year. We had to move everybody to that, but hopefully we'll have those sites reopened here real soon. Over 4,200 hours of home care services to folks who need a little help in their homes. Assisted over 800 seniors from Oconee County with Medicare, Medicaid, or other insurance issues, and investigated 22 complaints of nursing home or long-term care facility abuse from citizens in Oconee County. In addition, we worked with Walhalla to secure a $500,000 grant for their downtown Greenway project, and are continuing to administer projects previously receiving grants totaling $6.2 million total in West Union, the Schroeder Street, Burns Mill Road Water Project, Walhalla Water Interconnection Project, the Fairplay Sewer Extension, and the Seneca Kellett School Demolition Project. Over the last 5 years, we've helped entities in Oconee County obtain $7.7 million in federal grant funds to support economic development, infrastructure, and address significant community challenges. Through our partners at WorkLink, we invested $371,000 in workforce development. Funds provide training for workers needing skills to adapt to changing technological needs, training for displaced workers, resources for incumbent workers, and apprenticeship training. And finally, we provided $110,000 in transit funding, helping the Oconee County Disabilities and Special Needs Board and Senior Solutions both get ADA compliant vans. Continue to work with your Economic Development Office on the data and the mapping that's used to market the county and respond to requests for information. Continue to provide board and commission training to planning commission members, board of appeals members for the municipalities and for the county, as well as staff training, our supervisory and customer service training programs, and continue to provide support on technical issues to many of the cities throughout the county this past year. Again, I realize you're busy. I'm going to cut my presentation right there, but certainly be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions?
Mr. Pelser, I appreciate all that you do for the Appalachian Council of Governments and Oconee County. And again, my time on the board is very well worth it for what the return on investment has continued to be for Oconee County. And I really appreciate you fighting for Oconee County and those funds, as well as the board networking and working together with all the counties that we represent on there. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate those nice comments.
My thanks also. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Very good. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Public hearing for the following ordinance. Ordinance 2021-08, an ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of a special source revenue credit agreement by and between Oconee County, South Carolina, and a company known for the time being as Project Rise, providing for the payment of a special source revenue credit to such company, authorizing the execution and delivery of an agreement for development of a joint county industrial and business park with Pickens County, South Carolina, and providing for other matters related thereto. No one has signed up for public comment. I close public hearing 2021-08. Third reading of the following ordinance. Ordinance 2021-08. An ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of a special source revenue credit agreement by and between Oconee County, South Carolina, and a company known for the time being as Project Rise, providing for the payment of a special source revenue credit to such company, authorizing the execution and delivery of an agreement for development of a joint county industrial and business park with Pickens County, South Carolina, and providing for other matters related thereto. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? I'd like to start off the discussion by saying this is a win-win-win for the county. It's jobs, it's investment, and it's for the health and welfare of our Oconee County citizens. So I welcome this new company to Oconee County. Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Second reading of the following ordinance. An ordinance amending certain provisions of the litter control ordinance of Oconee County, South Carolina. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance 2021-10, ordinance repealing ordinance 2021-04, which required individuals to wear face coverings in certain facilities owned or operated by Oconee County. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
First reading of the following ordinance, ordinance 2021-11, an ordinance establishing Chapter 40 of the Oconee County Code of Ordinances to be entitled Cultural and Historical Preservation, and enacting Article 5 thereto, captioned Protection of Historical Monuments. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Luther Law, he brought this to the council's attention, and I'm very appreciative of it. It's important for us to protect our history right here in the county, and what this ordinance does, it protects all of our history. And people say there's other measures on the book, such as the Heritage Act, but the Heritage Act doesn't have a fine to it. This truly protects our history and our monuments and our memorials. As it stands now, if somebody goes out and stands on a memorial, there's really nothing, there's no repercussions for that, but this would address that. That's all.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance 2021-12, an ordinance consenting to the transfer of certain real property that has been forfeited to the office of the Oconee County Sheriff, authorizing the county administrator to take certain actions in relation thereto and other related matters, excuse me. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? First and final reading for the following ordinance. Following resolution. Resolution 2021-06, a resolution appointing and commissioning Matthew Lane Thomas as a code enforcement officer for the proper security, general welfare, and convenience of Oconee County and other matters related thereto. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, sir, Mr. Elliott. I would like to congratulate Mr. Thomas. Appreciate having you on the team, and everything that, this is a big, deal to, be out there, and I appreciate him, the leap of faith coming to work for us.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Discussion regarding action items. Change order number 1, PO 53717, engineering services for Cherokee Lake Road Bridge replacement. Roads and Bridges Department, PO 53717. The original was for $49,840. The change is for an additional $89,780 for a total purchase order of $139,620. It is staff's recommendation that council approve change order number 1 to PO 53717 in an amount of $89,780, which brings the purchase order total to $139,620. Is there a motion to approve?
Move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Compactor and container for solid waste department, $150,767.36. The budget's $150,802.56. Project cost $150,767.36. The balance of $35.20. Staff's recommendation that council, 1, approve the award of the bid ITD 20-06 Reaction Distributing Inc. of Ajax, Ontario, Canada, in the amount of $142,556, and 2, approve payment in the amount of $8,211.36 to the South Carolina Department of Revenue for sales and use tax. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Design Build Services for Westminster Mattresses Office, Mattresses Department, $767,534 with a contingency of 20%, $153,506.80, for a total of $921,040.80. Staff's recommendation that council, 1, approve the award of phase 3 and 4 of Westminster Mattresses Office to Trail Corporation of Clemson, South Carolina, in the amount of $767,534 plus 20% contingency in the amount of $153,506.80 for the total award of $921,040.80, pending the approval of the fiscal year 21-22 budget, and 2, authorize the county administrator to execute documents for this project and sign any change orders within the contingency amount. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. This property is going to be known as probably one of the worst real estate deals that has come to pass in Oconee County. If this was a military operation, it would qualify as the 4 Ps, and I'll soften this up. The first P is P, poor prior planning, and that's what this has gone on this building. This is going to be a broadband around the neck of this council. All the due diligence that was supposed to be performed were performed 6 months after the building was purchased. And I will have to vote no for this because I don't want my name attached to this building in no way, form, or fashion. Thank you.
Any other councilman comments? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Council committee reports, planning, economic development. Mr. Kane.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. March 16th, 2021, 5 o'clock PM, the Planning and Economic Development Committee met. We were scheduled to hear an update of the Mill Hill Opportunity Zone, community-based visioning, and charrette from Clemson University, but no one from the university was able to be present at the meeting to present. Next, we had discussion regarding the Bailey Bill from Ms. Annie Caggiano, President of the Oconee Economic Alliance. She gave a brief presentation and noted that the Bailey Bill allows local governments to offer a property tax abatement to encourage the rehabilitation of historic properties or low to moderate income properties. Mr. Elliott made a motion, seconded by Mr. Davis, approved 3-0, to coordinate with representatives from the municipalities and from archives and history to discuss the processes that the county envisions. Next Planning and Economic Development Committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, May 18th at 4:30 PM. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Board and commission appointments. Building Codes Appeals Board. We have one at-large seat, no questionnaires on file for this seat. Council will go into executive session for the following purposes. Number one, discussion regarding an economic development matter, Project Drift. 2, receive legal advice related to a reasonable accommodation request under the Federal Fair Housing Act. And 3, receive legal advice and discuss potential transfer of county-owned property and matter directly related thereto. Is there a motion to go in executive session?
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to go out of executive session.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. No action was taken in executive session. I move that the reasonable accommodation request submitted by Elevated Youth Services under the Federal Fair Housing Act be declined at this time, and that Elevated Youth Services proceed, if it so desires, with the customary application and permitting provisions applicable to group residential facilities as outlined in the Coney County Code of Ordinances.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Mr. Root.
Yes, sir. If I could, and just for benefit of the members of the audience who are here, that simply means that the action taken by council is that the reasonable accommodation request was denied at this point, so they'll still have the opportunity to proceed, petition, finish their application with zoning, and have a special exception hearing. None of that's scheduled at this point, so just giving you a heads up. The other matter that we have is to discuss and act on a proposed letter of intent related to a county-owned property. I need a motion to authorize the county administrator to execute the letter of intent upon advice of the county attorney with appropriate revisions.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Is there a motion to adjourn?